Hey guys, welcome back to this series of tutorials where we are building a real Uber clone in React Native and Node.JS. And if it's your first time to tune in, welcome. You are welcome in the series, and for those that have been watching already, thanks for tuning in again, and I can promise you that you will not be disappointed. So we're going to continue from where we stopped last time. And last time we finished building the screen that you are looking at right now. This is the home screen. This is what we did build in the last video, and today we're going to continue from where we left. And the screen that we're going to build today is called the request screen. If you click on the Ride with Uber on this button, I'll click there, and this will take you to the request screen. This is where you can request the Uber. You put in your destination, the location to which you want to ride to, and then it will take you to where you want to go. And at the bottom here you can see there are also those previous places where you've ridden to, and you can decide to close that, and it closed nicely. There's that nice animation. We're going to implement this. This is what we're going to implement today. We have the map in the background, which is interactive, and we're going to code all this in this video. And what we're going also to implement is the Google autocomplete, Google Places autocomplete. So if I want to put the address, I will click there, where to, and it takes me to that text input. For example, if I begin typing an address, let's say, what address can I put? Let's say 22 Basie Street. You can see they're giving suggestions as well. So we're going to implement all this in this video. All right. If you click an address, then it will take you. It will load the map, showing you the path, the direction which will be taken by the driver to drop you where you're going, and it will also give you the travel time as well as the distance. So this is the distance from where you are to where you're going, and this is the travel time from where you are to where you're going. And it also even calculates the prices for the different types of Ubers that you want to take. For example, if you want to take Uber Go, it gives you that price. It calculates everything. The calculations and everything are done in the back end. And so this is the request screen. This is what we're going to build today. And if you want to request, if you are happy with the price, you confirm. You can confirm there. If you are not happy, then you can cancel simply by going back. And maybe you want to choose a different type of Uber, you can simply click on the Uber which you want. You can see the selections are changing. Let's say you want to go with the Connect, or let's say Uber X. Then you confirm. As you see, the buttons also is changing. You can confirm that, and it takes you and update your request, and tells you the driver that is coming to fetch you. The details of the driver are there in that right hand corner, and the registration number of the vehicle. So this is the recap from what we've already done in the demonstration which I've done in the first part, which is the first video. So I just wanted to show you what we're going to build today. And if you are happy, you can confirm. You confirm your request, and pop, you have the Uber car coming. You can see there's an Uber car turning there, and there's a thing around about there that it's turning, and then the Uber will begin coming to you. So this is exactly what we're going to build, but this is not the scope of what we're going to build today. Today we're going we're going to focus on the request screen. You can see the car coming nicely to you. It's following the path. This is just awesome. You're gonna really enjoy this. And before we continue, I will ask you to like this video and share with as many people as possible, as well as if you are not subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button as well as the notification button, so you can be updated every time I upload a new video. So you know what we're going to build today. So yeah, let's begin coding without wasting any time, and let's begin. Good. I've opened my project. I'm using Visual Studio Code, as I said, and as you can see on the emulator, this is what you have built in the previous video. So you should have this on your screen, and at the bottom you should have the map showing the Uber cars around the user. So this should be the Uber cars around you, and I won't try to go back into details of what we've done previously. If it's your first time to watch this video, I will recommend you to check part 1a, which is the video before this one. You can check in the playlist and follow that. You're gonna be able to build all that you have done previously. And for today, we're going to move on. And right now, if you click on the Ride with Uber, this button, nothing happens, right? Nothing happens. Now we're going to do in such a way that when you click here, it takes you to the request screen. Okay, it will take you to the request screen, and let me just open the request screen. If I click there, let's hope the emulator won't cry. Awesome. This is the request screen, and let me just drop this bottom sheet for now. So you have the map in the background. All right, you have this Google map, and you also have this bottom sheet, which is really animated. This is good. And if you click search, it will open the previous places as well as the text input or the search bar. Okay, let's first implement this, and from the search bar, as I said, it will take you to the Google Place autocomplete, so where you can begin tapping the address and it will give the suggestions of the address. And at the same time, at the top, you will have let me open it again. You have this suggestion or option, which give you the option to either request the Uber for yourself or for someone else. If you want to request for someone else, you simply click there, and then it will give you the option to select for someone else. For example, if I click for someone else, it will reopen it. You see now the option has changed back to someone else. So the first thing that we're gonna begin coding on this screen, there are a lot of components, as you can see. There's first of all the map in the background, right? You have the map in the background. Then you have this option on top, which gives you the ability to request for someone else or to request the Uber for yourself, as well as you have then the text input or the search bar. This is the search area where you can search your address or type your address or someone else's address, and you have at the bottom this history of the places which you have requested before. So I think the easy way to start coding this screen is first to code the map, right? It's first to code this background map, and yeah, let's begin with that one. So open your project, go to the source folder, and inside the screen folder, I know so far you only have home screen. Now you're going to create a second screen. Just right click that, new screen. You're gonna say request screen, supposed to be request screen .js. Create this file, and I'm going to create a functional component. So this is what you should have, this boilerplate. Okay, and then let me just type in here request screen and save that. You have just created your request screen, and so far this screen is not registered in our app. It's not registered in our app. Our app does not know that there's this screen because we're using React navigation, and React navigation will not be able to navigate to this screen until it is registered. So let me open your app. This is what you have. Okay, so now we must register this screen into our navigation. Go to the navigation folder at your left hand side, into the project folders. In your source folder, you go to navigation. Okay, and so far you will see that we have not registered any navigation yet. So you should have the navigation folder, and if you have been following from the previous video, we did create all these folders. All right, so they are all empty except the global, as well as the okay, I think it's just the global that has got the global styles as well as dummy data and style. So that's all that we have. All of the folders, like component folders, context folders, reducers, they're all empty. So we're gonna go to the navigation folder and create a file inside this, and this file we're going to call it stack navigators, because now so far you only have one screen in your app. You cannot navigate to any screen. You only stuck in this one screen. So since we want to create a second and third and fourth screen, we have to create some form of navigation so we are able to move from one screen to another. And in what we use to achieve that, we use what is called the stack navigation, and there's a library which is called React Navigation. I'm gonna show you how to install that. I'm sure that most of you guys know already how to install that, but for those who do not know, I'm going to show you how to install the React Navigation library so that we can be able to use it in this project and navigate from one screen to another. First of all, as I said, on this folder, navigations folder, right click and create a new file, call it stack navigators.js. okay, create that file, and if you go to your package.json file, these are the libraries which we have got so far in our project. This is what we have installed previously in the previous video. So now we must install React Navigation. This is the library which we're gonna use in order to navigate from one screen to another. So I'm going to open my browser. You can also open yours. I'm going to open my browser. Let me and inside your browser, just type React Navigation. You can see, oh sorry, this is React Navigation. I think now there's React Navigation 6, and you should always make sure you are up to date with the latest version as well as the latest documentation. So if you open this website, you go to get started, it shows you exactly how to install this library and to use it. There's a comprehensive documentation. I think it's one of the best documentations that I've seen in the React Native ecosystem. It's really comprehensive and easy to implement. So it tells you how to install it. If you're using React Native CLI or bare React Native as they're calling it, this is the procedure to follow. And if you continue scrolling down, it tells you here installing dependencies into an Expo managed project. So this is what you will do if you are using an Expo project. You're gonna also follow this all these procedures. But the first thing that you must do first is install React Navigation. Copy that and go back to your project. I'm going to kill this terminal. Let me kill this terminal for now. So I'll paste that, and that will begin the installation. and I'll pause and resume as soon as the installation is complete. The installation is complete. Go back again to your browser and scroll down. We have completed this installation. Now we must install the Expo dependencies. All right, you just copy that and go back to your Expo project and paste in your terminal and press the enter button, and this will begin installing all those dependencies. So while it's installing, let's go back to the documentation and see if there's anything else that needs to be done. If you are using React Native CLI, which is called bare React Native, so you should instead use this command here to install the dependencies. And if you are using the CLI, React Native CLI, make sure you do all these things that they're saying here. Sometimes normally the auto link, automatic linking should be working if you are using React Native 0.6 and higher, but sometimes it doesn't work. You might need to do the manual or linking, and they just follow all these procedures here. But I'm focusing on Expo. So if you are using Expo as myself, so you done the installation, this is the two procedures and you should be ready to get moving. So this is all that you would need to do. And yeah, you can close that browser. I close it and the installation is complete. So we are now we now have React navigation installed in our project, and we should be able to use it now. So go to the file that you created, the stack navigators.js file, open it, and now we're going to create our stack navigators, right? And I'm just going to paste some libraries that we generally need. I'm gonna paste that here. You can type that. So those are the two standard libraries that we should import: React as well as create native stack navigator, which we're going to be using in this case. Now let's begin adding some screen to our stack navigator. The first screen that you must add is the one that we already created, which is the home screen, because so far we just rendered it as a component but not as a screen. Okay, now we must render the home screen, which is this screen here, which we created in the previous video. We must now render it as a screen, because right now we're just rendering it as a component. Okay, there's a difference, because a component you cannot navigate to it, but a screen then we'll be able to navigate to it. So in order to register the home screen, which is a component so far, we're going to create that stack. So the first thing we're gonna do, create a home stack. Just gonna say home, and we say create create native stack navigator. So we've created an instance of this stack navigator called home, and now we're going to create the home stack. All right, so just I'm going to say I'm gonna export it, not as default, just normal export function, and call it home stack. Now we're creating the home stack. In this, now we'll return the screen or the screens that we want to register in the home stack. I think this is simple. This should be very easy to understand, and if you're having any trouble, just write in the comments and I will try my best to attend to it. So now let's begin registering the screens into this home stack. We're just gonna say home and .navigator. Navigator, and we close that. All right, and now inside this home navigator we're going to register the first screen component, which is the home screen, because everything starts with the home screen. When you open your app, the first screen that will show up, it's not the request screen, but it's gonna be the home screen. That's why it has to be the first. So we're going to say home.screen. That means you want to register a screen to this stack, and this is a self-closing component. And now we're gonna add the name of the screen, which is gonna be the reference for this screen throughout our application. So this is home screen, and the component that must be rendered in home screen component so the component will be home screen. And like that, you have to make sure we import this. Normally it's supposed to have imported automatically. I'm wondering why is it not working. Maybe my computer is overloaded, but let's import it anyway. Import, gonna say home screen from this will be from screens home screen, and you must pass some options. The first option that I want to do is I don't want the header to be shown because I'm using my own custom header. So options, I'll say header shown, header shown, I'll say false. Okay, and all right, then let's save this. Okay, now if you see on your app, you have this icon here which is supposed to open a drawer navigator when you click on it, but so far if you click on your app, you see that there's nothing opening. It's supposed to have a drawer navigator into our app as well working, because if you see the final app, let me go to the home screen. If I click there, you have the drawer navigator opening with all these options and things like that. So we must implement the drawer navigator. So in order to do all this, to implement all this, which we must implement in our app, we must create a drawer navigator file, which I'm just gonna say I'm going to call it drawer navigator .js. Now we must implement this, and again I'm going to paste some standard libraries, which is your React library, as well as the create drawer navigator from React navigation/drawer. So you can type that, you can type this, and now let's create our drawer. I'm just gonna say const drawer, and this will be equal to create drawer navigator. That will be the instance, and this we're gonna export it as default. So export default function, and then call it drawer navigator. Drawer navigator, like that. And this is a function, of course, which must retain the drawers. And so what we're going to say here, we say retain and the first thing is the drawer instance. screens. Sorry, Navigator instead. I'm doing something not right here. Okay. Doing something not right. Awesome. And now let's register the drawer. The first one gonna be the home screen. So we're gonna say drawer, the first screen. And the name of the component, name, I'm gonna just say home stack, because you want, it's not just gonna be a single screen, it's gonna be the whole stack. So everything that we will be registering in this stack will be found in this drawer. Okay, so we're gonna say home stack, and the component will be called home stack, right? Home stack. And you can see it has imported that automatically, so we're gonna be rendering that in this drawer navigator. And I'm also going to add some options. And first of all, I need to import some component, and I'm just gonna paste that so we don't waste time, right? I'm gonna copy and paste some component. I'm just pasting the icon component which we're importing from React Native element, as well as some styles which we're gonna be using soon. Not right away, but we're gonna be using that just now. Okay. Inside the options prop, let's first open that options. This will take an object. The first one will be title. The first prop that we need to pass, title, and this will be the title that will be listed on the drawer. For example, if I open there, this is the title. These are the titles, right? This is the title. So the title, we're gonna call it, I'm just gonna say client for now. We could call it anything, or let's say home. Okay, let's just put home there. And we must also pass a drawer icon. This will return a component. This should return, I forgot a comma here. Alright, so this returns a component, a React Native component, which can be anything, and we can destructure some props for this component. The first one could be forecast, and the second one would be the size of the icon. So for the focus icon, for the focus prop, I could say focus, we take that, but let's say focused, as well as the second one could be the size that we can grab here, and then this can retain a React Native component, which in our case will be the icon which we want to render. So this is this icon here, you see, the emulator, that the icon that we're gonna be, it's the icon that we actually creating here. So this is an icon, and it's self-closing component, obviously. So the type will be material community, and the name is home, And okay, let's just do something. Can I have these props under each other like this? I think it looks better. And this is the best way to do it. And the color of the icon, so we're gonna say if focus is true, this we grab that prop, we're gonna render this color for our icon. This is the RGB, so 7 cc, and otherwise we can run colors. We take the gray too. Can take gray too. All these props, all these colors that we're importing here, I've shown you exactly how to achieve this in the first video, which is video part 1a. So you should check the previous video if you are confused about something, and yeah, you should be able to see what you have done previously. Okay, so we're having an error. What is that due to? I forgot to put equal here. And the size that we're gonna pass, we're gonna say size. This will be, we're taking the size from this prop, which are coming from React navigation library. So the other thing that I want to do, I don't want to show the header when this is rendered. So say header shown, also gonna put that off. So we're gonna say header shown, we pass false, and there must be a comma there. Awesome. So we're done with our draw navigator. We've implemented the first part. So this simply gonna be rendering this icon and the title. Instead of client, I think we've put home here. All right, and but yeah, we can leave it as home. So save that. Telling me, do we have an error? What is that error due to? No, we're not supposed to have a comma here, sorry guys. And just trying to see why are we having this error. You can see, I see why we're having the error. I think I did put this it's supposed to be let me first yeah, let me delete this one now, because all this is supposed to be part of the prop, the options, so it's not supposed to be here, and it's supposed to be right after this. That's why we're having that error. Okay, so I'm gonna paste that here and let's squeeze it in, and awesome. Now we can save this. Now we've created the draw navigator as well. So we've created the stack navigator as well as the draw navigator. So but so far it cannot, our app cannot render all these navigators. So now we must register these navigators in our app. So we do that by creating what is called the what it's called the root, we call it navigation container. All right, because we have different types of navigators. We have the stack navigator, we have the draw navigator. So all these things cannot be rendered separately. They have to be contained into a container, and that container is going to be rendered as our root file in our app, or root component in our app. So it's very simple to achieve that. Simply create a new file into your navigations folder. Create a new file. You call it, let's call it root navigators, or root navigator instead, or root navigator.js file, like that. And I'm going to paste some libraries again, which is the standard libraries, so we don't waste time. React as well as navigation container from that. So to create the navigation container, you simply create a component, a React Native component or React component, Expo default. It's going to be a function. Call it root navigator. Root navigator. And this will retain the navigation container. Okay, this retain the navigation container. So we're gonna render the navigation container. So now inside this, we're going to render the draw navigator. So draw navigator, and make sure you import this. I've imported that. It has imported automatically from, and then we close that like that. So that's it. We have registered our container. Now let's render it to the root file. So we go to the app.js file. Instead of rendering this home screen here, we're going to render the navigation container, which is the root navigator. So delete all this in your app.js file, delete that, and let's render the root navigator. We're just gonna say root navigator. That's all. Make sure it is imported on top here. You can see in my case it is imported now. So since you have imported that, we can now delete this import. We don't need that anymore, and save this file. Now I'm going to run my emulator. Let's see if this works. I'm going to close the app. Let's see what, it's not this one. This one should be on. This is the demonstration. I'm going to close this one so we can run it again. So you can run your project as well in the meanwhile, and I'm going to run mine. Expo start. So I'm going to pause the video and resume as soon as my project is running. Okay. I'm having some errors. I'm sure you should also have those errors. It's complaining. If you see here, it's saying we did not install this library at React navigation / drawer. So we did use some libraries that we did not install yet. So this library here, the drawer, we need to install that, and even in the stack navigator we also need to install yes, I think that the only library we need to install, because this one is installed already, React navigation / native stack. I'm not sure if that was installed. Let's check in the package.json. No, we also need to install that. So we must install those two libraries. So it's very simple to install them. We can simply, let me copy this, copy that, and let's close this terminal. I'm going to say yarn add, then you paste that, and that will begin installing the library. We can again go to stack navigators, copy that, and go to your terminal, type yarn add, and then you paste what you've copied at React navigation / native - stack. Press the enter button. that will begin installing that as well. Actually, since we're using Expo, I was saying, since we're using Expo, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be installed with Expo install or yarn can work, but because I generally use React Native CLI, I'm only using Expo for these tutorials. But let's first try it. Now you've installed those two libraries. Let's try to run our emulator. I'm going to run Expo start. I assume this will work, and I'm going to pause the video and resume as soon as the build is complete. Okay, I've tried to run my emulator, but you can see I'm still having some errors. So I think the library did not install properly, and let me try this. Let's say I'm going to try to install it Expo. I think that should be the right way to install it. Expo install. Right, hopefully this will work. I hope you guys understand it. And I generally don't use Expo, as I said. I use React Native CLI for most of my project, and so I'm also learning Expo while building this project with you. And let's do the same for the native stack. So I'm gonna say Expo install at React Navigation / native stack. So let's see what happens. If this persists, we might need to delete the node modules and reinstall everything, but let's hope this clears the problem. So I'm going to start again my emulator. Expo start, and let me pause and resume as soon as the build is complete, so we don't waste time. Okay, my build is complete, guys. I see that still having some errors. You can see still having a red screen there, but that's quite normal. Let's look at the documentation. This is part of debugging. I'm just teaching you guys how to debug when you come across this type of problems. So we're coding this project together. Open your browser quickly, and let's go back to React Navigation. So let's see what problem is it saying. It's saying that animated from React Native reanimated. So we don't have this library. If you open your package.json file, which I've opened here, if you see in these things, we don't have that library, React Native reanimated. So we must install that. That's why we're still getting some errors. So open again your browser, go to React Navigation website. Right, this is the website. Go to docs. Let's see what they're saying. Scroll down to API reference, and under API reference you can scroll to navigators. The first one, let's look at the drawer navigator, and the procedures. We have done this already. We've installed that. You scroll again down. Okay, this is what we did not do. Right, so make sure you always read all these things. We're gonna copy all this, so we're gonna install the React Native gesture handler as well as React Native reanimated. This library is dependent on all these packages. So if you are using React Native CLI, you're gonna instead do this one. If you are using Expo, then you do the Expo installation, which is the one on top here. Right, so these two are different procedures to do. So copy whichever you're using. In my case, I'm using Expo, so I'm copying this top one, the Expo install, and go back to your project. Inside your terminal, type that and press the enter key. This will begin installing. While this is installing, let's go back again to the React navigation site, and we are still under the navigators. You see that, and go to stack or native stack instead, because this is the one that we're using, native stack. Let's see if we have done this installation already, and I think for native stack there's nothing more we need to do. I think we're done. There's no more dependencies for that require installation here, so that should be okay. You can close that. Hopefully this works now. I'm going to run again. Expo start. Going to run Expo start. So while the project is building, I'm going to pause the video and resume as soon as the emulator is launched. Awesome, guys, my emulator has launched, as you can see. Let me just make this split the screen now so we can code properly. I'm just gonna reset this. Sorry guys for this. I just need to make a bit of space for everything, right? Alright, I think this is better. So let me make this bigger. Right, now my emulator is running, and we have the cars there. This is the home screen. Now this screen is not just rendered as a component, but it's rendered inside React navigation as a screen. Alright, but still, if I click there, nothing happens. But if I draw from the left to the right, here we have the drawer navigator opening, and we have the icon that we created. Let me show you. This is what we did, right? So this is the icon, the home. We have home there, and yeah, and this icon here, the home icon, here it is. This is the icon that you've just created. So if, for example, I change that to client, let's say client, and save, you have the client now. So our drawer is working. We're gonna populate it soon, but for now this is not the focus of this video. The focus of the video is for us to create the the request screen. All right, but we've done the most important part already. Now we have the navigators. Let me open the final app so we can be seeing what we're building. Right, it's just nice to be interacting with the final product. This is the final product, or at least the demo or the demonstration, if I can put it the right way, the demonstration product. So if I click there, we have the complete drawer, and which you don't have yet. And now if I click on this button, mine is working, but yours is not yet working, because it takes me to this screen here, which is the request screen. And so now let's implement that. So if you click on your icon now, you see that nothing is happening. So for us to move from here to the request screen, go to your home.js file. Let's close some of the useless screens. And open the home.js file, home screen.js file. open the home screen.js file and scroll down. Let me make this smaller. Alright, okay, let's make it full screen for now. So this is the Ride with Uber component. This is the one, which is this component here. But now if you click on it, nothing happens. So we must be able to add a touchable component so that we can be able to click on it. So to do that, we must import a component called Touchable Opacity. I think that's the most appropriate for this component. Let's say Touchable Opacity. I think most of you guys know that already. You might have used it. If it's not your first time to use React Native, I think you could have used that component in your previous project. So we are here, touchable opacity. It's the one at the bottom here. So import this component from React Native, and now scroll down. We must wrap this view inside that component. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open that, or cut that and open a touchable opacity component and close that, and then paste what we just cut here inside that. Alright, you can squeeze it in like that. Okay, and then inside here we can create an event listener, which is on press. You want to listen to the press event. So what we say on press, you want to navigate to a screen. Alright, you want to navigate to a screen, but before that we must first pass a navigation prop to this screen. So go to home screen. On top here we can just structure, we pass navigation, we grab that navigation prop. This props gives us the power to navigate to any screen in our app or in our stack. So I'm gonna say navigation dot navigate, and we want to navigate to the request screen. We want to navigate to the request screen like that, and save it. But right now we have not registered this request screen, so the app does not know that there's a request screen in this application. So we must now create or add we must add the request screen to our stack navigator. So now go to the stack navigators.js file. Inside here we're going to add the request screen to this stack. So just copy this. You don't have to waste time trying to type all this again. Copy that and paste it. So I'm going to say request screen, and the component that must be rendered is also request screen. So request screen, here it is. There's a suggestion there, so make sure that is imported on top here. You can see in my case it automatically imported request screen. So save that. Let's go back to the home screen. Now if you open our app and if you click there, it should take us to the request screen. There we are. Okay, it's there, just that it's still, the text is inside there. But if you go back there, you can see there's a request there. And let me show you something inside here. Let's create a container style. I'm gonna say container. Alright, and inside this container, let's just say padding padding top, let's say 20. Okay, and let's go to this. Right now it's saying it's empty because of what you're gonna see now. If you put that and we pass that style to this component, to this view, say style equal to styles dot container, and now let's see from there. I want to do something. Now I'm going to save. There we have request screen. So you have successfully registered your request screen. Now we can begin coding the component of this screen. So whenever you click on ride with Uber, it takes you to the request screen. You can navigate back. Awesome, well done. You have done a big step. Now we can begin creating the request screen. Now before we continue, actually instead of putting this padding top as 20, we can instead grab it from the parameters. If we can go to the home screen, I'm just gonna copy some alright, we can import it instead. Let's import something. Import colors, import colors from global, like that. We also import parameters. Alright, and now instead of putting padding as 20 here, we're just gonna say parameters dot status bar height. Okay, because if you go to your global styles, we have got this status bar which we're getting from this library which we installed in the previous videos. Okay, now you can save it. Save that. If you go again to ride with Uber, it's still working. That's nice. Okay, we have your request screen. Now the first component that we're going to code for the request screen is the map. Now let's create the map component. Okay, so I'm going to create a separate component for this map, for the Google map. I'm going to create a separate component for it. So let's go to the component. Let's create a new component called, we're gonna call it a map component. So I'm just gonna say map component .js like that, and I'm going to create a class component. I'm going to create a class component for this map, right, like that. The reason why I'm creating the class component instead of functional component is this map will have a lot of what can I say, functionalities. We will be rendering the direction on this map, and all those direction will have different state. So I think when you have so many stateful components, of course React the functional component can still work, but it's much easier to use the class component to implement things like this than using the functional component for so many state, as you will notice. So for now, just follow with me as I'm going, and some of the stuff you will understand along the way. And yeah, but for now, just bear in mind that for example, if you have to implement a component did unmount and things like that, and things like component will mount, we can implement that in functional component as well, but it's very easier to implement it and very dynamic and strong and solid to implement it with class component. Okay, so yeah, so I've created this class component. You can type that, it's called map component, and inside here we're going to render the Google map. So I'm not gonna type everything from scratch because we did render a map already in the home screen. If you scroll here in the home screen, we have the map view already rendered here. So I'm not gonna repeat myself. Let us copy this. We copy all this, copy the map view, and delete this and paste it there. I have the map view pasted. Let me just squeeze it in a bit. Just gonna pull it not in out. Just want it to look nice. Okay, I think that should be all right. And for now I don't need all these markers. Let me first delete all this. I'm going to delete this for the time being, and initial region, I'm also going to delete all this, and the style I'm gonna leave that. The reference, I don't need the reference right now. We can delete what I'm deleting so we can be on the same page. So that being said, we now need to create this style here for this map, right? We need to create that. Inside here, let's just copy what we had there already anyway. There is no time to play with or waste. Let me find that map. Here it is. This was the style. So let me copy this object, paste it there. And we call it map like that. So the height, for now let's put it 100%. We're gonna change all this because all these parameters will have to be dynamically passed. Delete that. The width as well, put 100% for now. And the map style, we need to import that. Let's copy it from this, from home screen. I'm copying all these things from home screen. You can copy this and paste it in the map component. And go back to home screen again, and let's copy this import and let's paste it here. And what else? I think that's it for now. I think that's it for now. You can save your file, save it, and go to the request screen, and now delete this And now let's render the map here. So let's say map component, like that. I'm going to make this screen small so we can have a look at the emulator. This is the final project, so this is not what you have. Let me open the actual project. I'm going to run my project. You can also run your emulator if you did cancel it. I'm going to run my project by typing Expo start. So my project will be building, and I will resume as soon as the build is complete. My project build is complete. I'm going to make this small, and we have there the request screen. So if I go there, home screen, and go to request screen, let me save this file now, the request screen, because we are rendering the map component here now. Let me save that. Yeah, apparently this is not running. Let me just close it. I'm running multiple project on one emulator, so this sometimes creates problems. Okay, I see what's happening. Let me try to run this again. Okay, I can see it's building, so I'm going to pause. Alright, my emulator is loaded. You can see that this component is working. The map component is now rendered, so this is working perfectly. So we have a foundation for where to build our request screen, and now the next step will be to create this search component, as well as the history, which is in a bottom sheet. So this is the next part, but for now I see this video is over an hour already. We're going to stop here for this tutorial, and there's another tutorial following tomorrow. So I will push to make sure that this project is completed before the month end. And yeah, otherwise, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video that is coming just shortly. And until then, keep safe and take care. Bye bye.